You're listening to Big World Network.
Amazing Grace, Episode 7. Written by James Hellvig, read by Meagan Hedin. The clock in Tammy's head begins its countdown as she steps out of the elevator. We've got 2 troops at Newark Liberty, a 160th Chinook and a Little Bird. 20 minutes flight time. At least that in recon. Come on, Cat. Slowing her pace and increasing her chatter with Jorge, she says, "So tell me, Jorge. We've done the awkward introductions, the group groping. Do I get to meet your boss now?" Stopping and halting the group, Jorge spins, snarling at Tammy. "This isn't a joke. She's waiting for us right down there." Leaning her back against the wall, Tammy raises an eyebrow. She sighs loudly before replying sarcastically, "Let her wait." Picking up her left foot, Tammy props it against the wall, grinning at the men standing in a semicircle before her. Exasperated, Jorge points towards the long hallway. There are 2 doors leading off of the corridor with a 3rd heavy door at the far end. Long glass panels allow diffused light into the walkway. "Move!" Jorge snaps. Shaking her head, Tammy purses her lips. She makes a sound before saying sadly, "Rushing to your own demise. What's your hurry?" Cursing, Jorge orders the guards to get Tammy moving again. As they enter the hall, the men's bodies grow tense. Tammy is wedged between the guards, her view partially obstructed by Jorge walking in front of her. They open the first door and crowd through it. Tammy looks to her right, struggling to control her own reactions. The center wall is reinforced glass, giving a waist-high view of the surgically equipped room beyond. The guards propel her towards the far chamber, a room that reeks of antiseptics that can't quite cover the underlying coppery tang of spilled blood and loosened bowels. Anna is shackled to the ceiling, her wrists bleeding from a set of cruelly clamped stainless cuffs. She glares at a bald, pig-eyed man who seems to be humming happily as he tightens the restraints that pin Mother Steel to a gleaming mortuary table. As they enter the room, an enormous Somalian with a short mohawk and a fiercely tattooed face meets them. He takes one of Tammy's arms, dismissing the armed men with a grunt. Demonis Alumno turns from the oversized chair which is bolted to the floor and grins at Tammy wickedly, saying brightly, "Ah, Miss Fuller." Waving at the torture chamber behind her, she continues, "I have so much to show you." Jorge falls back, taking Tammy's other arm. Anna's muffled voice screams, "Mom!" Locking eyes, Tammy nods in acknowledgement. Gritting her teeth, she returns her gaze to Demonis, telling her in a steely tone, "Let them go and maybe I'll let you live." Cackling wildly, Demonis leans in, voice dripping to a whisper akin to the Arctic gale. She says, "Your friends won't make it. We're all going. But we've plenty of time for you to see." Waiting for the deranged woman to step back, Tammy snorts loudly, replying, "Regis, you are one dumb bitch." As her smile becomes a grimace, Demonis Alumno punches Tammy hard in the solar plexus, doubling her over and throwing the men holding her off balance. As the men haul her upright, Demonis hisses into Tammy's face, "Use that name again, and they will suffer even more." Her voice rising to a screech, Demonis motions to the hard chair, its restraints open and waiting. "Put her in it." The heavy beat of twin rotors thrums inside the speeding Chinook as Kat listens to the advanced recon team's reports in her headset. Sniper teams are in place to clear rooftop security. Thermals indicate heavy defensive positions on the upper floors. Building prints are inconclusive, Major. A lot of the schematics are obviously falsified. No way to tell which modifications are real. We're ready to cut power on your go. Replying while looking at the starboard window, Kat asks, "Numbers?" There is a pause before the senior non-com answers. "Still trying to confirm, Major. Best guess is between 30 and 40 hostiles." "Shit. I'd have preferred overwhelming superiority." Aloud, Kat asks, "How far out are the Rangers? Have we had any recent movement?" The reply is brisk. "Rangers are still 70 minutes out. One signature moved below street level 5 minutes ago." Nodding to herself, Kat switches to the all units frequency. "All units, we're hot. Clear LZ on my command. Teams Alpha through Charlie stand by to exit aircraft. Watch the damn buildings, people. Keep it tight on me. Delta and Foxtrot teams on fast rope to plan Theta. Acknowledge." Shuffling forward, Kat listens to the team leaders confirm their orders as the Chinook aligns its course with the street paralleling Park Avenue several miles ahead. A combat drop into the city from 32,000 feet? Let's pray the wind shear doesn't change and that they've blocked and cleared our tiny landing zone. Behind her, 20 operators make final checks on their equipment while their counterparts prepare for the rooftop assault. The pilot's steady voice counts down as the ramp lowers, allowing the cool New York evening air to enter the aircraft. Ramp down and locked. Stand by. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Godspeed, troopers. Go, go, go! As they hurtle themselves out of the speeding helicopter, Kat yells into her throat mic, "Hammers fall! Execute! Execute!" From 2 diagonally opposing vantage points, Delta sniper teams open fire at 700 yards, killing the 5 men stationed on the roof of Demonis' building within seconds of each other. As the last of Kat's team exits the airframe, the pilot banks sharply, heading directly for the cleared building to unload the remaining assault force. The basement lights flicker briefly before dying, the power grid disabled by Kat's team seconds after their assault begins. The backup batteries snap on immediately, casting the 3 rectangular rooms in a baleful hue. Rolling her cuffed hands inward as Jorge and the Somalian haul her forward, Tammy retrieves a small ceramic key hidden in her belt loop, working it into the left-hand lock and twisting it hard to release the latch. The momentary distraction causes the men to hesitate briefly. Tammy twists violently inward, wrenching her arm from Jorge's grasp and driving her head into the startled Hulk's nose. She hears a satisfying crunch as she bashes him once, then viciously again. Lashing out with her right foot, she back-kicks Jorge in the stomach, driving him into Demonis. Holding tightly to the open cuff and using the steel's ragged edge as a knife, Tammy rakes it across the behemoth's eyes, causing him to loosen his grip. Stooping down, Tammy grabs the man's massive ankles. She steps forward, using her shoulders to jerk his feet out from under him, sending him crashing to the ground. Stomping repeatedly on the giant's groin, Tammy slings his massive legs aside and turns to face the rising Demonis, who has a glittering stiletto in her right hand. Demonis Alumno laughs throatily. Pulling a slim remote from her thigh pocket, she depresses a switch and casts it aside, saying softly, "I just burned cities throughout your country. You lose." Smiling wickedly in return, Tammy mocks her opponent. "Idiot. Did you really think that thing still works?" Studying Tammy's confident features, Demonis snarls. She reaches back into her side pocket. "We shall see." Closing the gap, Tammy attacks.
This has been a presentation of Big World Network. Visit us on BigWorldNetwork.com for more free weekly series, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to Big World Network.